Hello, boys and girls. During the weeks of June 1st and June 8th, for reading, we're going to be working with poetry. One of the tools that authors sometimes use in certain kinds of poetry is something called alliteration. So let's talk about what alliteration is. First of all, it is a poetic device or tool used in some poems. So what that means is you do not see alliteration in every single kind of poem, just certain kinds of poetry. All right? Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of words, often in consecutive order. Consecutive means in a row. So let's take a look at what that looks like. All right, so it says, can you order this sentence? So our sentence is going to start with the name Doris, okay? And these are the other words that we're going to find in our sentence. And this is going to show an example of alliteration. So we have the word of, we have the word dancing, we have the word dreams, and then we have the word daisy. And notice daisy is capitalized. Now I know daisy can be someone's name, but it's also the name of a flower. Now, here's a clue. It's capitalized here, okay? So I'm thinking Daisy might go here, Doris Daisy, okay? Maybe this is a sentence or a short poem about Doris Daisy, okay? Now let's think about what Doris Daisy would do. Doris Daisy dancing. Well, that doesn't make sense. Doris Daisy dreams. That makes sense. Doris Daisy dreams of dancing. Now, this is an example of alliteration because if you look at this statement, I know it's really short. Sometimes poems can be short, sometimes they can be long. This is really short. It does not involve rhyming, but it does use the device or tool of alliteration. How can you tell? Well, let's look back at what the definition said. It said alliteration is the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of words, often in consecutive order. So that therefore, we should see that there are consecutive words that begin with the same sound. What sound do you notice in most of these words? Hopefully you notice that most of these words, actually all of them except one, begin with the D sound or the letter D. We have Doris, Daisy, dreams, dancing. Doris Daisy dreams of dancing. So sometimes when an author uses alliteration in poetry, it kind of becomes a tongue twister for a lot of people. All right, let's take a look at another example. So this time we have our sentences starting with the name Robert, okay? We have the words rides, rabbit, a, rose. Now notice rose is capitalized, okay? So I don't think they're talking about the flower rose, but maybe a name, okay? If you look at the picture, this gives a clue too. You have a rabbit and there's what looks like a rose with eyeballs sitting on the back of the rabbit. Well, here's rise, here's rabbit. So maybe this is Robert Rose rides a rabbit. So if alliteration is the repetition of the same sound being repeated over and over again in consecutive order, then what makes this alliteration? Well, notice all of the words that begin with the R sound. Robert Rose rides a rabbit. They all begin with R except for that word A. So again, when you say it fast, it can be a tongue twister. Robert Rose rides a rabbit. Okay. Usually when an author uses alliteration, it's fun to try and say it quickly to see if you get tongue-tied or not. Let's take a look at another example. Can you order this sentence? So we have Paula, we have the word picks, plums, pansy, purple. Now again, pansy is capitalized, so I think that goes with Paula's name. So we got Paula Pansy. I also know that pansy is a type of flower, and this is a flower, okay? And there's eyes, so it looks like this flower is like a fictional flower. It's alive. Paula Pansy. Now, what would Paula Pansy be doing? Well, she's holding plums here, so it would make sense to say Paula Pansy picks purple plums. So you can see, again, the author is using alliteration. Every single word starts with the P sound here. Paula Pansy picks purple plums. Again, when you say it fast, it's kind of fun because the challenge is to say it without getting tongue-tied. I got tongue-tied just saying that. Paula Pansy picks purple plums. So here are examples of some more common ones that you've probably heard of. These are poems that contain alliteration, okay? And they're longer. So we have one over here on this side, and then we have another one over here. Okay, so it says, underline the letter in each section that creates alliteration. Instead of underlining, I think I'm going to use my highlighting tool. So if we read each section, it says each section, okay? So like when you have a poem that's broken up into sections, instead of calling each section a paragraph, we call them stanzas. So over here, you can see that this is stanza 1, stanza 2, stanza 3, and stanza 4. So this poem has 4 different stanzas. But if we look at each stanza one at a time, you'll see alliteration is used because the author is beginning most of the words in each stanza with the same letter. Let's take a look and just read through it all at once. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickle. I just got messed up. Did you hear that? That's what alliteration does to you. Let's try this again. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? So what's making this alliteration, boys and girls? If you look at stanza 1, you can see a word that starts with P here, and another word here, and another word here, and another word here. Look at all these words that start with the letter P. And if you look at each stanza, the author is using the same beginning sound for most of the words. What makes this poem alliteration is the repetition of words that begin with the letter P. It's very challenging if you try to read through this quickly. I mean, you witnessed me reading it at a slower pace and messing up the very first time around that I read it. So if we try this again, look at all these words that start with P. That's what alliteration looks like. All right, so let's try it again. Let's try to read it fast. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Not so bad that time. Let's take a look at this one over here. This is another familiar one. I'm going to use a different color. So again, as we read through each stanza slowly, look for what letter sound or what letter you see most of the words starting with. So we have Sally sells seashells by the seashore. But if Sally sells seashells by the seashore, then where are the seashells Sally sells? This is tough. So what do you see at the beginning of most of these words? Hopefully you're saying S. So we've got Sally sells seashells, seashore. Sally sells seashells, seashore. Seashells, Sally sells. And what also makes this tricky is when you get to the words seashells and seashore, you have the second part of those words that has the sh sound in it, okay? So it's kind of challenging because you're going back and forth between the S sound and the sh sound at times. So let's try to read this again quickly. And this one, I'm bound to mess up because I have a harder time with this one than I think the other one. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. But if Sally sells seashells by the seashore, then where are the seashells Sally sells? I actually did it. Not so bad. I don't think I messed up. So, boys and girls, that is what alliteration looks like. So, again, during the weeks of June 1st and June 8th, you will be looking at different examples of poetry, different forms of poetry, and some of the different tools and devices and styles that authors use in their poetry. Okay. So, hopefully, this video is beneficial.